and welcome to this week's version of Wolverine Chat. Nate, it's hard to believe it's our fifth episode of this new venture that we've created. Been a crazy weekend. Michigan won, Michigan State won, Lions won. When does that happen? Not very often.
Yeah, that does not happen at all very much often. I can tell you that. It was a good sight to see, though, for sure.
No, it's definitely fun. And please, if you're listening, we appreciate you listening. If you could like and subscribe, it really means a lot to us. Get this off the ground. And I wanted to mention something that I had mentioned last week in the post, one of my posts that I put in the Michigan Fan Club, that that if you had picked the score, I wanted you to, in our comment section of the podcast. So we're going to do this again this week, and I'm going to send it again in my on my post of Michigan Fan Club, if you're a member there. If you pick the score of the Michigan-Nebraska game, great. You're the first one to pick it. And we get to 50 subscribers, and you like and subscribe, but we have to get to 50 subscribers, and it's got to be in the comment section of this week's podcast. I will send you that jersey, Air Jordan version of number 2, Charles Woodson jersey. It's a beautiful jersey, and you'll love it. But again, I'm going to say it one more time. It's got the score's got to be exact. It's got to be in our comment section.
And on YouTube.
On YouTube, yes, on YouTube. Thank you, Nate. And it's got to be exact, and it's got to be in our comment section, like you just said, on YouTube. And if you get it right, I will be happy. But we need 50 subscribers.
Yeah, we do.
So subscribe, please. Okay, so let's go on. Excuse me, to this week. I want to start out with this week's version of Tim's Take. I have a friend who suggested I call it Tim's Tirade, so I'm not sure which is the best name, but we'll keep the take for now, I suppose, since I'm sure we have millions of people that are used to it. We don't want to screw that up. So watching Nate here, he hurt his back. That's not good. I'm sorry you did that, playing some ball. He's a baller, but
that's all right.
He's a young guy. He'll be okay. Okay, so this week's Tim's Take, I want to talk about Jim Harbaugh. And I want to be honest. I try to be honest on the show and in my fandom. I believe no matter what Jim does, he doesn't get fair credit. I want to go back to his first 5 years. Was it great? No. But I heard so many, this is me talking prior to 21, how bad he is, yada this, he wasn't close, he didn't come this, he doesn't do this. People forget, and I don't even, this, Nate, 3 plays, if you change 3 plays from 2015 to 2018, we're in at least the Big Ten championship game.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Yeah, the Michigan State game. Of course, if we get that punt because Michigan State won that year.
You have the 2016 Ohio State, the fourth down.
And what's the third one? I'll give you a hint. It's not involving Michigan.
It's probably the Penn State game where Ronnie Bell dropped
the
ball.
No, it's I have to think back to that one. I know which one you're talking about when he got death threats, basically.
Yeah.
Well, that was ridiculous. No, it's the Maryland Ohio State game, or was it Rutgers? It's when they dropped they got a 2-point, or Maryland dropped a 2-point conversion that would have beat Ohio State in 2018. Now you say, well, Ohio State kicked our butt. Yes, but that game would not have mattered. I mean, it would have mattered, but we would already got it if we had if Ohio State lost. So 3 plays. So that's how close he was. Now, woulda, coulda, shoulda, I get it. He didn't do it. But let's not act like he was so terrible. And Michigan was so – people forget Brady in 2014, what Jimmy inherited. So I think people – and even now, he wins, and it's constant. And there's some – I understand the teams they're playing. I get that. But why do people make it look like Ohio State is this playing world beaters, but when we do – it doesn't matter. Yes, it's been a weak schedule, but most of our schedule is what? The Big Ten. It is, you play the same teams every year, sometimes home, sometimes away. So, yes, this year, 3 teams, not so great. Last year we played Washington, but again, when that schedule was made, Washington was not some doormat. So, and now let's talk about his play calling. Again, I get it. It's not always the most exciting, but at first I kept thinking he's got to change it up. And true, red zone, we've got to get more creative.
We went 5 for 6 this week.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
So
it's this or this. I don't care. He went 5 for 6. He fixed it. And what about the guy?
Barely, though. You got to think,
What do you hear mostly? Coaches need to do. What do you hear about Dan Campbell? What's his weakest his weakest thing?
I feel like he's just too aggressive on fourth down.
Okay, and there's a list of them, but
You go for 4th and 9,
halftime adjustments, right? What do you do in a halftime? They make an adjustment. What's our adjustment? Every time. Do you know the last second half, the last 4 games, Michigan has outscored their opponents 100-3?
Yes.
I mean, think about that
Yeah,
just
I
for a
saw
second.
that stat the other day.
Yeah. I mean, I had to look it up. Is that correct? I think Penn State got 3 points on a field goal. So when you're that, we're not just dominant, and people got to realize now. Take the red zone out of it, but running down the field, they do a lot of things even in the running game that I like, and I'd love to see it step up in their passing game. But if you keep winning, just keep winning, Jim. And things like halftime or the game with Michigan State, they don't realize those players wanted to go out that door and fight MSU. They just hit one of their guys. They weren't going to take it, and it was the coaches, Jimmy and all the coaches, that kept them in the locker room. Can you imagine if those guys had gotten out, what we'd be talking about today? I mean, Think about it. It would have been a black eye in college football. But does Jim Harbaugh get any credit? No, you get these. Again, I don't want to go back to Michigan State, but he doesn't get any credit, is my point. And there's so many Michigan people that I have to argue with. It's terrible. It's halftime. They're ready to give up. Yeah, they didn't play well. I mean, and I don't know if this is much Michigan not playing well. Did you see Rutgers hit? That they were just hitting like everything. But I didn't think it was last. I posted, let's just wait, and sure enough, they came out and destroyed them. Nobody says anything about Ohio State winning 21-7. Oh, they it was 14-7 in the 4th period. Oh, the Heisman C.J. Stroud, look at his statistics. I mean,
he had more rushing yards.
Yeah, he
than
ran.
He did passing.
He ran what, 170 yards or something crazy? How many? I forget how many, but it was a lot. And I give him credit, but I don't know if those are all design runs, So
I mean, you got to look back to it. I mean, look how he played last year against Michigan in that last game.
Yeah.
They blamed the conditions.
Nate, come on. It was cold.
No.
Come on. It was. That poor guy. Ohio State,
yeah.
they want to play in a neutral place because this is cold. I mean, Woody would be over in his grave. I mean, he was all about toughness. So anyway, that's this week's. I just want to say I think Jimmy needs a lot more credit than he gets even to today. I think he's a great coach. I think he's always been a good coach, but he took a pay cut. He did everything he needed to do. And
making more money now.
And yes, because he believed in himself. That's it. So this is this week's of Tim's Takes, and give me comments and what you think below, and we'll go from there. But we touched on the game this week. Give me your thoughts.
First half, I was thoroughly frustrated. It's a very big understatement because you had those 2 4th downs. You had 3 plays inside the 5-yard line, back-to-back drives, and it took you 4 plays on each drive to score. And I don't think it should take you four plays to be able
the 1-yard line.
Yeah, exactly. It's pathetic, and the play calling needs to change inside the red zone. They need to get it more aggressive with instead of run. Everybody knows you're gonna do it. Call a little play action or a little quarterback sneak right up the middle behind your award-winning offensive line.
I was gonna say, how many times have you seen even Corum just pushed by that line?
It's just really frustrating.
JJ got pushed, and he got that. So talking about that's what they finally did. But my heart can't take it, Nate. That's 8 plays to get total of what, 2 yards?
14 points. Yeah.
I mean, but they got it. I mean, I'd rather be talking about this after scoring rather than they didn't score, ended up getting a field goal or missing it or something.
Speaking
like
of
that.
field goal, let's talk about Mr. Money Moody. Man, I was disappointed in him this week. I mean, that's a 6-point swing. We would have been up at the half, 20-14.
Now, what's that tell you about Michigan fans and Jake Moody? It tells us we're spoiled, and it's spoiled in a good way.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, your expectations go up.
We have the Lou Groza Award winner.
Yeah, and now he missed. Let's face it. There was some wind. He knuckleballed that one. It didn't turn over. I mean, I thought that first one's coming in. I couldn't tell. The second one you could tell he was, but they were both. I bet
50+ yards. Yeah.
2 feet on one way or the other. So he barely, but he missed.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing. I mean, we needed that momentum going in. So, I think we were talking a little bit. JJ wasn't on fire, but I mean, Andrew Anthony, I love the guy. He hasn't had a lot of chances, but that ball went through his hands. He dove for it. He laid out, but I think he should have had it.
JJ overthrew it.
He might have overthrew it, but come on, watch it again and tell me it didn't go through his hands.
No.
You watch it again.
You got to think though. Look how JJ's been all year on long balls.
Well, a little bit long. He needed more air.
He has to have more air.
Yeah,
He's throwing too much of
But
line
you will
drives.
never get me to say a great receiver doesn't catch that. And I'm not saying Andrel's not great. I love Andrel. I dare you to watch it, and we'll watch it after the show. And you tell me where the ball was. It catchable? I'm going to just ask you: was it catchable?
Maybe if he was in his sleep, maybe, because he had to lay out.
I know. And then what happens with Ronnie Bell? Again, I'm not criticizing these guys. I love Ronnie Bell. I love these guys. But that Ronnie Bell, that hit him right in the numbers on the run. And what about in the end zone? We dropped another touchdown. There are some drop balls.
Oh yeah, easily. But I think JJ could be a little better on the line still.
And every week, what do we say? Oh, he's getting there. I know, but it is his first year,
getting there.
And I just think he will. But I don't want What I loved about the first half is that they went out firing. And I thought, okay, this is going to be exciting. This is going to be fun.
For sure.
And it didn't turn out that way, but they can't stop. They got to do that. Jake can do it. It just takes a little bit. He's going to get there, and when he does. But we were without Roman Wilson, and we don't have. Now, I got a question. They played a couple of those freshmen. Why didn't they play Darius Clemens? I didn't see him out there. Did you?
No.
So you see, I don't know if there was because they played the other two. I forget their names, but there was two freshmen they put out.
Yeah.
So they have so much talent, but I think Darius is probably their only true number one receiver. That's stereotypical. They can go up on 50-50 balls.
Yeah, those 50-50 balls, we got destroyed again.
Oh, I'm getting sick of it. 2 weeks in a row. They just throw it down, and our guys are there. They're just. That's the kind of. What do you do?
They're either jumping too early or too late.
What do you do with Megatron when he was playing? What'd they do? You don't have to be a great quarterback. You can just throw it up.
I mean, eventually you gotta do something. You gotta switch up your game plan or start double teaming them or something. You gotta have a safety come in and help, or you have to figure it out because I mean you're making your DBs look absolutely atrocious.
Silly.
Out there.
They're looking silly on some of those.
They look absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, they're hitting hard, but they've got to do could CJ do that all day? He possibly could. You know what I mean? That's what worries me. But we'll see. Right now, we're changing subjects, but I think Michigan's got a way better chance than I thought a couple weeks ago.
Easily.
OSU. My
easily.
confidence levels go. And I'll tell you what, we're getting to a point where there might be two Big Ten teams in there. I didn't think so 3 days ago, but with what happened over the weekend, you never know. We'll talk about that here in a second. Any other thoughts on the game before I move and change subjects?
Not really. Besides, I was very, very happy that we finally got some turnovers.
How fun was that?
It was
awesome.
I mean?
There's nothing better than you get a pick six, then the next play they take it back to and they scored. They made them punish. They punished them on every one of those.
Yep.
That was just
21 points in like 92
Michael
seconds.
Michael Barrett had two. That guy was a beast. I love Michael Barrett, and Will Johnson, I think, got one. If he was the other one, so that was awesome. That was fun. And when you just start scoring and putting up points, it's just. And there's so many Michigan fans there too. That's something else. I just love when they start chanting at the end.
Oh yeah.
Beat Ohio, although it's 3 weeks away. Okay, I want to change subjects a little bit. Excuse me. Let's go looking at the Heisman Trophy. Where do you think? Do you think Corum has a legitimate chance, or how about a chance to? What's his chances to be on stage, to be in New York?
Man, it's really hard to say because it's been a while since we've seen a running back in the Heisman talk since Derrick Henry from Alabama. I mean, that dude was a monster.
He's a monster now, but yeah.
And I mean, Blake Corum is a monster too, but
He's just a smaller monster.
exactly. And I feel like right now, like how college football is, I feel like it's more of a quarterback's trophy than a running back or any defensive player that could earn it.
I honestly think it depends what happens in the Michigan-Ohio State game, whether he has a legitimate chance. Because if we win, that's going to give him the leg. CJ just hasn't been a monster. I just not that impressed. I mean, with some of the games, of course, he's thrown for forever. What's his Alabama's quarterback? He had a decent game, but they lost. I don't think Alabama's. They should have lost to Texas. They should have 3 losses.
Oh yeah.
So that's ridiculous. But I know that Corum is in. If you look at the previous Heisman Trophy winners that were running backs, he's leading the.
Oh yeah,
the group.
all of them. Yeah.
So
through 8 games, yeah,
that,
for
that
sure.
guy, he's. I think he's one of my favorite Michigan. I love Charles Woodson. I love Rick Leach, which you probably don't even remember Rick Leach from the '70s. Ricky the Peachly. He played with the Tigers for a little while too. I was a kid then. I loved him. Tom Brady. I mean, I've had a number of favorites. Anthony Carter. Now you know who Anthony Carter is, right? People, I'm sorry. I want to ask for forgiveness. The number one, the first number one. He beat a game against Indiana. That was probably one of the best finishes. There was 4 seconds to go. We were at the 30-yard line. They did a crossing pattern on the 50. Anthony took it, went up the field, scored a touchdown with no gain. It was just, you got to listen to that play sometime. That was the best play in Michigan history. Anyway, so we'll see. I wanted to see your thoughts on the Heisman, but it is tough. Who if you had to pick right now, who's going to be your pick to win the Heisman?
It's definitely not C.J. Stroud.
No.
That's for sure.
Hooker, you
and
think?
it's not Hendon Hooker either.
No,
the
not
way
anymore.
the way he played this weekend, not a chance. I feel like Blake Corum is a strong belief. If he can show up and show out in that 12th game in a couple weeks, I feel like it's definitely his to lose.
And I agree with you, to be honest. That's kind of exciting. 2 years in a row to have at least a guy there, that would be great. Well, now this week we're playing Nebraska. It's home. Nebraska, so. It'd be nice. What do we have? What do you think? What are you looking for in that game?
I'm looking for more out of the offense. I mean, we've seen what the defense can do. I want to see more of the offense. I want to see that dual threat ability that I know we have. I mean they threw it a lot with JJ, but he just missed on a lot of them. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there were some drop passes and whatnot, but I mean,
no, he missed some. Definitely missed some.
But I mean, I want to see them run it and then set up the pass for
and
sure.
I don't want to see him give it up. Give up on it in the second quarter because he missed a couple. You got to keep going.
Yeah, you got to keep going because I mean, eventually he's gonna hit, and when he hits, it's gonna be huge.
And if you don't, people are just put 6 in the box, and not that they're going to stop us, but that's what they're going to do. I'll tell you what, Donovan Edwards, I think he's one of our best receivers. I mean, that guy's just incredible catching that ball.
Hands down, yeah, that kid's absolutely ridiculous in the backfield.
What he has the next couple of years is scary. Just think if Michigan, I don't think Michigan is at the top of their game offensively. I think they got a way to go, and if they get to the top, I think they could beat Georgia. Not for sure,
easily.
but I think they
Oh
can.
yeah, hell yeah, they could. I mean, Georgia is just a completely different animal compared to the rest of college football field as of this moment. But I feel like Michigan is right behind them, following in their tracks.
And I think they're right now. That's the only team that I would say they're better than Michigan. We're getting there, but I think we're a strong second. Where do you see the committee? I don't think the committee likes us. I don't think they're big fans of us.
No. Yeah, for sure, because for some reason everybody loves Alabama, Clemson, and that team down south.
Yeah, I forget the name too. Somewhere down south.
But it's just it's really frustrating because Michigan the last 2 years has been in places and won games that because last year when they had the final top 4. They placed us in that position in order to avoid a Alabama-Clemson rematch.
Right, exactly.
And it pissed me off so bad. I was like, that's absolutely ridiculous.
We were
Or Alabama-Georgia game. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, Alabama-Georgia rematch, and it was so stupid.
We should have been playing Cincinnati that first game. There's
easily.
Logic. I was at that game in Indianapolis, and everybody's saying we're second, we're third. It's a guarantee almost.
I mean, the way we destroyed Iowa in the Big Ten championship,
that's what I mean. People think Michigan gets everything because they're Michigan, and I think sometimes it's just the opposite. People, people hate us because
if we're not Ohio State, then it's completely different ball game.
That last year,
for some reason, the college football committee is obsessed with Ohio State, Alabama, and Clemson.
You put
and
Ohio
Georgia.
State and then the SEC. Well, the only reason Clemson was even close is because of their pedigree. You know what I mean? From other years. And then
from Trevor Lawrence, and that's it.
And then they get their butts kicked at Ohio State, which makes Notre Dame. That also makes Ohio State's win in the first game not so great. I mean, they played Notre Dame, but now Notre Dame goes ahead and beats Clemson by what was it, 28-14 or I don't know.
It was a big loss.
They
lost by, I think it was like 21 or something like that.
Georgia manhandled Tennessee, so there was just it was a crazy weekend. But I'll tell you what, I think
Ohio State should have lost.
Ohio State
easily they should have lost.
Could have lost. And again, all I hear from these bucknuts, the rain. It's like do they not live in the Midwest where there's rain and snow and cold?
Yeah.
Buck up, Buckeyes, and stop whining.
Yeah.
Just you got to step it up. And I know it's hard to catch a ball.
Ryan Day has every excuse in the book to.
I love what Jimmy said about him. You think you hit a home run when you wake up and you were born on second, but you were born on second. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But in others, he inherited a good team. That's all he did. So, well, we'll see. I don't see how we can't be second, but. Having said that, I think we're going to be third in the polls.
No.
You think they're going to put us second?
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't know about the hell yeah. We'll see.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, easily, because the way Ohio State played against a terrible Northwestern.
You're using logic. I hope you're right. It doesn't really matter, to be honest.
It does. I feel like it does because, I mean, it shows our worth because look what Ohio State had to deal with and overcome against a terrible Northwestern team that always brings the fight to top 10 teams. And they barely escaped. I think they started pulling away with like 6 or 7 minutes in the fourth quarter.
And having said that, they won by
only
14 two scores.
By two scores when they were probably like a 28 to like 35 point. It just makes no sense.
What does Michigan do in a game like that? They run. That's why Michigan's game travels.
I mean, sure they struggled in the first half, but look at the changes that we made, the adjustments that we made at halftime, and 35 points to nothing.
That comes back to Jimmy and the coaches. The defense, the coach. Our defensive coach. My name's not. Jesse Minter. I give him all the credit in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh, what he's doing with that defense.
It was really nice to see some turnovers finally, especially interceptions, because we haven't seen a lot.
Missing.
Yeah. And if we can continue that, one of the best defenses in the country.
Real quick, give me your score. Michigan, Nebraska. I'll write it down so we can see. We should have a little side bet here, but
42-10.
42-10. Let's see, 35. I'm going 45-13. 2 field goals and a touchdown. Let's see, I've got it. Okay, we'll see what we're looking at. I think either way we're going to be close to that. I'll be at that game. Rooting them on. Lions, what do you think? We surprised, happy? Give me your take.
I'm not convinced yet. It was a good win.
I'm not convinced.
But it was still a good win. It was a good win. It was a much-needed win for Dan Campbell and the Lions. But they still have a lot of work to do because, you're going up against a struggling Aaron Rodgers and a Packers team that just hasn't shown any fight all year long.
But we've lost these games in the past.
Oh, yeah, close games. Yeah, you give up. Jared Goff played horrible in the second half. But all these close games, I mean, for the last 2 years, we have lost every single one almost because defense and offensive play calling is just absolutely atrocious. I mean, Dan
What
Campbell.
was that play call?
Dan Campbell would go with it.
4th and 2 or 4th
Yeah.
and 1 and an empty backfield.
Yeah.
What is that? I'm not against him going for it at that point.
I
but-
was.
I wasn't. I mean, I would have been okay with if he had
Pin
said
him back.
kick the field goal. That's fine. I'm good. But my biggest thing is you empty backfield and you go 4th and 1 and that allowed him to rush. They put and then you know how Goff is. He gets a little pressure. He just looks like
collapses.
He just goes down.
Yeah, he's
he
a
needs
folding
to step
chair.
up.
Yeah.
He did that a couple times, and when he steps up into the pocket, he's a different quarterback. But what's a shame about him, it seems that everything has to be perfect for him to work. He's got to be protected, and everybody does. But when there's anything goes south,
I'm hoping as much as I hate the team he plays for, he's going to the draft this year. CJ Stroud is, and the Lions need to pick him up. They have a good opportunity to, because they're gonna probably either be second to last or last in their division and damn near close to the last to the bottom spot in all of the NFL in the standings, and that'll give them a decent chance for a good first
they
round
may
pick.
be needing a running back. I mean, I think
No.
what's his name's a stud, but he
Jamal
doesn't.
Williams. But
Jamal
Swift.
Williams and
Swift
and Swift are two different.
Oh
runners.
yeah.
I mean, Jamal, but when Swift is in there healthy, it's a different game totally. But he doesn't look like he's trying to be in there. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I know he's got to play, and we need. We need somebody that. But I don't know if they'll probably give him another year. We need some defensive guys. Although the last thing I want to say about the Lions is I heard a lot of crap about Brad Holmes. Let me ask you a question, and this is set up. Tell me, on defense, who made all the big plays? What did they have in common yesterday with everybody who made a big play on defense?
I just feel like defense from last year to this year is 10 times more aggressive.
But what do they have in common? I'll tell you, they're all rookies.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
I mean, so they're all kids, and there's people like, I heard that Aiden was a bust. I heard, Pascal.
He's tied first in like almost every stat that you can
Yeah,
do.
and look at what's who got our interceptions? My brain's not working.
Hutchinson got one.
Yeah, but who got two of them? The guy from Illinois. Are you kidding me?
I can't think.
Who got our interception yesterday?
I couldn't tell you honestly.
Oh my gosh, I apologize, but he was our guy from Illinois. He was a nickelback safety, and he's been every week he's getting closer and closer and closer to getting an interception. Yesterday, he got two of them, and then the biggest play was on that long bomb. He put his hand up just at the last second and tipped that away. It was more than just two lucky interceptions. All these guys are just. Stepping up, so I'm excited about their defense and their offense, but that wasn't fun. He just couldn't hit a side of a. So I'm kind of a golf guy, but I don't know. I'm about giving up on him. He's a good bridge guy, but anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for another week of Wolverine Chat, our 5th episode. Again, we would really appreciate it if you liked, shared, and became a subscriber to us. Slowly those numbers are going up. Look for that contest. I'm going to say it one more time before I let you all go. You pick the game, or the score to the Michigan-Nebraska game. You put it in Wolverine Chat, our comment section, and if we get to 50 subscribers, whoever hits that number first, I will drop ship Charles Woodson jersey, a Michael Jordan brand jersey to your house. It's got to be exact, so please do that, and I look forward to it. Nate?
On YouTube.
What's that?
On YouTube.
On YouTube. Thank you for always saying on YouTube. So you heard him, you heard me. It's got to be on YouTube. Don't go to iPad or Apple or anything like that, or Spotify. On YouTube. And we'll go from there. But thanks again, Nate. Nice talking to you again.
Yes, sir.
And guys, have a great week. Go Blue, and we'll talk to you next week.
Go Blue.